Good morning, fellow traders. This is Doug Campbell with Right Way Options, and this is the morning market preparation video for April 16th, 2018. So we're halfway through April already, and we're still seeing these intraday or overnight whipsaws that are obviously very challenging for most people to trade. This morning, let's just say Friday, we had a significant sell-off, and that sell-off was honestly a little bit, where it's placed is kind of spooky, because here we were challenging that downtrend line on the diamonds, and we popped above and completely reversed it, leaving behind a bearish engulfing candle that also happened to be right underneath that 50-day moving average, which would suggest another potential lower high and more lows to come. Well, you want to take any candlestick pattern with a grain of salt and realize that it requires follow through, and it looks like we're not going to get that follow through this morning, because the Dow futures are, at least at the moment, at the open, are expecting more than a 100-point gap up. So far, those bulls are stepping in to try and prevent that follow through price action to the downside, because if we move higher here, and then obviously this bearish engulfing candle truly meant nothing. So we'll have to wait and see what's going on. Now, largely the bearishness, that came in here last Friday was just anticipation heading into the weekend of that potential military action against Syria. Now that's kind of behind us. At least the initial part of it is behind us, and the market can breathe a little bit easier, I guess. And we're looking for that little bit of a push higher. Please keep in mind we've got a lot of work to do before things, I would say, things get very bullish. Right here on the Dow, we have that 25,000 mark, which is kind of a psychological barrier here for the market. We also have this price resistance area right in here that we need to deal with, right through there, as well as that 50-day moving average. So there's a lot of work here on the Dow, and it wouldn't be out of the question to see this market slip into a bit of consolidation. In fact, I would find that to be healthy for the market, as long as it's not a real wide price range consolidation. The market could heal up a little bit here. So I'm not predicting that's going to occur. I'm just saying that's, if I were king for the day, that's what I would like to see. Several days of a little price consolidation that gives us a base to either rally from or sell off from, makes it a whole lot easier for us traders to enter and exit positions with some reasonable edge, instead of these overnight whips. Now, let's take a look at the SPY. SPY, very much the same thing, challenging this downtrend line, unable to get back through this resistance area that I've drawn here, and also staying beneath that 50-day moving average. However, once again, we're showing that gap up this morning, that challenging this bearish engulfing candle, saying we're not going to follow through, at least at this point. So kind of keep an eye on that as those bulls try to push here this morning, and maybe even if there were enough people that got short here on Friday, create a bit of a short squeeze. And a short squeeze can help the market drive higher by forcing all of those traders that jumped short on Friday, forcing them out, forcing them to buy to cover, and that actually pushes the market higher. So we'll have to watch. Well, just watch this price action pretty closely. If we see sellers really stepping in this morning after the morning pop, that could be a problem, because we could easily drift lower and pretty quickly. If those bulls remain tenacious and push higher, squeezing on those short traders, putting pressure on them, forcing them to cover we could see a nice push higher. So be very watchful of price action after the open. Let's take a look at the Qs. Qs also finished the day. We rallied. It popped up here on Friday morning. Just couldn't quite push through. Didn't leave behind quite a bearish engulfing candle. Darn close, but we still have to recognize that we're below that falling 50-day moving average and this price resistance right here. So there's work to be done, and a little consolidation here would be a very healthy thing, in my opinion. Whether we'll get that or not, it has yet to be seen. Let's take a look at IWM. Now, IWM remained the strongest index just because it rallied above that 50-day moving average and managed to hold above that 50-day into the close on Friday, even though it did produce a bearish engulfing candle. Again, this morning, no follow-through, at least so far. Futures showing that bullish push or bullish open this morning. So we do have all this resistance. There's a lot of work yet to be done to correct this market or to turn it around. So anything is possible. Be prepared for anything. One thing I would suggest when you're trading a market like this, if you decide to trade a market like this, it's okay to be standing aside. If you decide to trade a market like this, there's very little edge for a swing trader in a market such as this, where we swing back and forth with such big moves in just overnight sessions. One of the things you can do to manage that, or help you manage that, is take smaller positions. And that smaller position allows you to widen up that stop loss, to not be quite so emotional in the trade. And even a half or a quarter size position put you in the game. And if the trade really begins to work for you, you can always add to the position. You don't have to take a massive risk every time you enter a trade. Remember, everyone, trading is a marathon. It's not a sprint. We don't have to rush to the finish line. We have to trade wisely. We have to manage our risk. And sometimes just the ability to stay in the game longer is one of those tactics to really improve your trading. So be careful here and don't overtrade a market that's whipping this much. On the earnings calendar, we have about 45 companies reporting today. Now, this morning we have a couple important companies like JB Hunt, JBHT. JB Hunt, one of those transportation services, reporting this morning. Can't tell if it's reported here or not based on the price action. We also, had earnings from BAC this morning. I'm looking to gap up slightly here this morning. And then also Schwab reporting this morning. Looks like Schwab, I can't tell if it's reported this morning or not already. So keep an eye on those. But most of the focus today will be on the first of the FANG stocks to report, Netflix, after the bell today. So kind of keep that in mind. Watch those earnings reports. We can see some volatility around it. If they continue to report well, that could definitely prove to be a bullish sign for the market. On the economic calendar today, we have several important reports. We really get going hard this Monday with retail sales. First thing this morning, that's a big number. That's expected to come in pretty good. Empire State Manufacturing, again, also good. Business inventories remaining strong is anticipated. And the housing market index also showing strength. Treasury capital is not forecast forward. That's the measure of, long-term security demand from the U.S. And I don't expect that to really move the market. Again, it happens right at the market close. We have a Fed speaker today at 1:15 to make note of, and a few bond events on the calendar today. So with that, everyone, hey, let's take a real quick look at the VIX. The VIX, surprisingly, with that selling, did not rally on Friday. The VIX actually continued its pullback, and we're running down toward this support area. We'll have to watch the support. We don't want to see the VIX hold support. We want to see it drift on lower. So come on, bulls, let's push hard and see what we can do here and get us out of this territory. And last T2122, the 4-week new high, new low ratio. You can see we have the ability to go higher here. We're not up here at this bearish reversal zone, and if we can get up there and stay up there for just a little bit, that would be a nice thing to maybe push through some of those resistance levels in the market. But don't be surprised once we get up here to see some kind of a profit taking or some pullback in here. Remember, market is still very choppy and has, you know, this incredible ability lately to gap big moves in the overnight session. So be real careful how you trade and manage your risk carefully. Don't over trade this market. With that, folks, I want to say thank you to everyone who watches these videos on a regular basis. I do appreciate it. You guys are awesome, and thank you for the great comments that you post. If this happens to be the first time that you've seen this information, please do me a favor and click on that subscribe button on YouTube and the follow me button on Facebook. Punch those thumbs up buttons. That helps me a lot. And if you think it's worthy, please drop a comment. Also, always feel free to share these videos with any friends and family that you might think could benefit from this information. Everyone, take care. Have an awesome, awesome day. We'll talk to you all bright and early Tuesday morning. Have a good one.